everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are finally going to be concluding the Uria deck here with a test hand video that's actually focusing on going second, which is mainly the intention of this deck anyway. So I actually do hope that things do go well in terms of our opening hands. It does actually come down to a bit of luck as to what we actually can draw into and what we're able to go about with the deck as well. But with that being said, there's no better way to find out than to actually try it itself by getting right to the test hands. But I would like to remind you guys to drop a like, share, comment and subscribe if you do enjoy this video. However, with that being said, let's begin. Alright, so here's our opening hand. Definitely really crazy, to be honest. I mean, it does look quite scary because we technically can't do anything, at least in terms of summoning anything out at the moment, but maybe that could actually change once we get reasoning and monster gates going. So our only viable card right now is reasoning, so we're going to activate it, and we are going to assume that the opponent doesn't know what you're actually playing. And in this case, you're right, you have nothing out on the field, the opponent can't guess. They typically want to guess a level 4, they're never going to get it right, so we're just going to keep milling here, and hopefully we can ditch off as many trap cards, starting off with Hyper Blaze. We just keep going because we're fueling the graveyard for the Uria, so thank goodness. And since Uria can't be normal summoned, it would keep on going, or at least it must be special summoned by sending the cards, so that would be very nice there to keep going pretty much forever and ever. Crackdown, opening of the Spirit Gates, Hyper Blaze, Magic Planter, Crackdown, and we finally get here Dark Summoning Beast. There's no way they're guessing that correctly, it's a level 5, so we pretty much get to summon it out really easily right off the bat. So as you can see here, with the Dark Summoning Beast, we can immediately tribute it off, allowing us to then go for pretty much our other Uria from the deck. But the issue is we won't be able to attack our opponent, which is definitely a huge issue. So with that being said, we're just going to keep it out on the field because we're going to be using Monster Gate next. So we essentially tribute one monster and we excavate the top cards of our deck until we actually get a monster among them that can be normal summoned or set, and then we get to special summon it and the rest goes to the graveyard. So that's really fun here. So, oh, that's unfortunate, we got here Chaos Summoning Beast. Not ideal, I was hoping to obviously send off a lot more, but even so we could tribute off the Chaos Summoning Beast right over here and summon out our Uria. Of course, before that you could also banish off Dark Summoning Beast, allowing you to search out your other Uria from the deck right here and add it to your hand. We could also go for Chaos Summoning Beast, banish that off, allowing us to then search for another Fallen Paradise from our deck. Our deck is really thin at this point, but what we can do is now activate the Fallen Paradise, and this will essentially allow us to then draw 2 cards. So I'm going to shuffle my deck. Alright, so now we're going to draw 2 cards, 1 and 2. So we have your Curry Bandit and also Monster Gate. That's actually fantastic because we can normal summon out the Curry Bandit, and there's something it could actually do at the end of the turn as well, fueling more cards to the graveyard. But you essentially have your Fallen Paradise protecting your Uria anyway, so that's fantastic. If you want to go for another Monster Gate to get more trap cards to the graveyard, you could definitely try that out with the Curry Bandit. But even so, this is what we have in our grave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So technically we have a monster here with 6,000 attack and 1,000 attack here, so that's 7k damage directly to your opponent. Of course you could go for the Monster Gate as well to prepare for the next turn, but that would be okay there. It's not necessarily an OTK, you could potentially push more further with the Monster Gate. Otherwise you could set all of these cards right here, and Awakening is still decent, I guess, with the Anti-Spell Fragrance to lock out your opponent from their spells. So you are actually going to be in quite a good position in that particular standpoint. But you know, just for a bit of fun, we could go for the Monster Gate, tribute off the Curry Bandit, and you just keep milling And here you get another one. Unfortunately, we're getting quite unlucky by searching out all of these monsters. It's just not something I would expect to actually happen, but normally it wouldn't happen. But say Curry Bandit went off, then you go for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's just getting rid of all of our monsters. I was actually surprised to see that, but even so, it's still great to start off like that. It's a matter of how lucky he gets in terms of getting cards out and to the graveyard. Alright, so this is definitely very different. Of course, this is quite bad for 2 cards being technically dead, but we could also just go for terraforming, allowing us to search. You could prevent your opponent from going for Ash anyway, so it's kind of like baiting out their Ash, which would be great because we have Chaos Summoning Beast anyway. So let's just go for the benefit of the doubt and assume they have no responses. So we add a Fallen Paradise, potentially deck thinning. We can activate it right away if we want to. We could also go for Chaos Summoning Beast, normal summon, tribute that off, summon out our Uria, and this will essentially allow us to then banish off our Chaos Summoning Beast from the graveyard, searching out our second copy of our Fallen Paradise. So we are deck thinning to try and reduce the amount so that we only have the trap cards left over. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go for Reasoning right after this, so we're just going to shuffle our deck. Alright, so now we're going to go for Reasoning. Obviously this is going to be quite risky because, well, it depends if there's anything that goes through. If that's a monster card, we kind of failed, but who knows. I'm assuming the opponent can guess wrong, assuming they don't know how Sacred Beasts work, but we'll find out. So we have Crackdown, nice, another Crackdown, cool. Foolish, we have Monster Gates, Curry Bandit. I really doubt they would actually guess a Curry Bandit, so we managed to put 2 cards to the graveyard, which are both traps. That's a good thing, but we are definitely quite in a bit of trouble here, so let's go for Fallen Paradise and draw 2 cards as well and find out what we can get. So 1 and 2, we have another Chaos Summoning Beast, not necessarily the cards we could work with in this particular case, so it seems like this is not necessarily the best hand, but we could still definitely go for something because during the end phase when you tribute off the Curry Bandits, you could potentially get more cards to the graveyard, strengthening up Uria, and keep in mind Uria is still protected by Fallen Paradise, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Alright, very interesting. It's good to see a bit of variety here. It makes you kind of challenge yourself in terms of what you could potentially do if you see a different variety of cards here. So we have Dark Beckoning Beast, we can normal summon that, add our Opening of the Spirit Gates, activate that, allowing us to then search out our Chaos Summoning Beast. Let's see, normal summon that out, and that would look pretty fantastic at this particular point. I'm glad to see 2 Uria here, so we could get rid of 1 Chaos Summoning Beast, tribute that off, summon out the Uria. It does still seem like a big risk at this point, of course, but it doesn't matter here, we could still definitely do some stuff. So what I'll do here is we're going to take the Monster Gate, tribute off the Dark Beckoning Beast, and we could then mill. But at the same time, I'm going to use Chaos Summoning Beast effect to firstly search out our Fallen Paradise. So that should have been somewhere up top here. Where is it? Over here. And now we're going to shuffle up our deck. Alright, so we haven't activated Monster Gate yet, but we can activate it right now. And this will allow us to then mill. So we have Uria. Uria just goes, that's okay. We have here Awakening, nice. Metal Reflex Line, 2. So, another Awakening, great. Crackdown, great. Curry Bandit, so there we go. We have Curry Bandit, and we managed to mill off how many cards here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trap cards, so that is a 4000 beatstick Uria, which is fantastic. We're going to activate Fallen Paradise, drawing 2 cards, 1 and 2, okay. Very interesting. We have here a Dark Summoning Beast, so what we could do is use Opening, get rid of Dark Summoning Beast, allowing us to summon out our Dark Beckoning Beast, and we could link these two away, which will allow us to then go for our, where is it, Pentastag. And finally we could banish off this and search out our, where is it, oh, Uria. I believe that was the top card, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. Where is the other Uria? Oh no, it was already in the graveyard, so there's no point in actually going for the Dark Summoning Beast there. So in that case, you would actually have here piercing damage, which is fantastic of course, but you have here a lockdown, you have here awakening just in case you go for the second one, and you have here the metal reflex slime as well, which on your next turn you could go for Egyptian god slime. Now I am actually starting to get quite disappointed in this particular case that this deck has far too many monsters. So that is definitely one of the issues I'm trying to fix with this particular deck, because with Monster Gate and Reasoning, you don't want to mill into too many monsters, and I found that I've been milling into Curry Bandit far too much. I've been milling into Chaos Summoning Beast or any of the other Sacred Beast cards that can easily be normal summoned. So with that being said, I definitely have to adjust things up, and hopefully things would improve. In fact, if I just take this right now and I remove out all of these cards here, so we take out this, we take out this, we take out this, this. I'm just taking out all the monsters right now from the deck. So these are the remaining monsters in the deck, and this was the remaining spells and traps. But anyways, with all of these here, you have so many of these cards that could actually be like summoned out via Monster Gate or Reasoning, which is definitely the issue. So what I would do is I'd recommend you drop the copy of Curry Bandit down to 2 copies maybe. Drop the Chaos Summoning Beast down as well, drop the Dark Beckoning Beast, drop one of the Dark Summoning Beasts, and then you could fill up your deck with actual cards that might be a bit more viable in this option. So you could go for more continuous trap cards, and that would be fantastic. But you could see that there is definitely a bit too many monsters that I find to be an issue here. So with that being said, I'm definitely going to be making a few adjustments, and yeah, this is kind of something that's a bit of a first time happening in the middle of a test stand, but with that being said, it's very fun. But either way, I do thank you guys for actually joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.